Hello, it's Chris from Cricut. Welcome to Cricut 101. We're really glad you're here. Happy holidays. I hope you guys are getting ready as we are for the holidays here in Utah. If you haven't tuned into our series before, the idea behind Cricut 101 is very simple. We've noticed that a lot of people coming into our product world have not done any crafting with cutting machines before. And so what we're trying to do with Cricut 101 is give you some simple walkthroughs and beginner level projects, as well as things like unboxings, to kind of help you get over the hump with your first few weeks using your Cricut. And the idea is to get in, jump in, get your hands dirty, and work and get something done early. And the more projects you make, and whether that's with the help of Cricut 101 or with friends or with social media groups, the more confidence you'll have and the more fun you can have going through the holidays with your Cricut. So what we're going to do today is actually one of my most favorite things, and that's customize with Cricut. We're going to make a custom iron-on t-shirt with a t-shirt that I just had laying around the house for my daughter. It was a pink cotton t-shirt, and cotton is a really good fabric to do iron-on with. So this will show you not only that two colors is not out of the realm of beginners. A lot of people think you need to stick with one color. It's not actually that hard, particularly when it's a 5-year-old t-shirt and you can get everything in one fairly compact place. But also just this idea that ready-to-make projects, as you might have seen from our earlier broadcast called 3 Ways to Make, are a really good entry into the Cricut world. They have instructions, they have ability level, they have the materials you'll need, but also custom and making things by pulling images, text, and shapes onto the canvas is actually a really good way to go as well. All right, I'm just going to make sure that my sound is working good, and it's good. Okay, so I'm going to jump in. And please feel free as we go through to ask questions on the live chat. My buddy Karen is on the back end and she's going to answer as many as she can over the course of me narrating through this video project. And if you don't make it to the chat, go ahead and visit Cricut 101 playlist on the official Cricut YouTube channel at any time, because we archive these episodes on demand and we're checking the comments there too. So if you have a specific question, please let us know, and let's go ahead and get going. Okay, so we are just showing you kind of the finished product here, just to give you an idea of what it looks like. Like I said, it's a cotton 2-color iron-on t-shirt. And here are the supplies that you're going to need. There's a Cricut EasyPress, a weeding tool, a lint rolling brush, a couple pieces of iron-on. I've got my trusty Cricut Maker there as well. So let's start in the home screen of Design Space and move over to the toolbar on the left-hand side and click the Images icon. And you can see you can use these filters here on the left-hand side to kind of narrow down your search, because there's thousands of images and it can be a little overwhelming at first. You can see you can select cut or draw only. Simple images is a great place to start for beginners under image complexity. And single layers is also a great place to start for beginners, because that's going to be a very easy beginner level project. You can always search in the search bar, and I'm going to search for mom in the top. And that kind of mirrored reflection is what I'm looking for here. I'm going to take that. That was my previous project. Sorry about that. But you can see I've got my image. Whoops. There it is again. I've got my image on what's called the canvas here. And I can move it around. I can make it bigger by grabbing that icon at the bottom of the bounding box. And you can see the size in inches is recorded there on the top and the right-hand side. And it's also in the top under width and height under size in the toolbar at the top. So you can start to understand how big your image is going to be on the t-shirt. And like I said, I have a 5-year-old pink t-shirt from my daughter. It's fairly small. So I'm going to start looking at some colors here, and this is where you can just start to see what colors might look good on your shirt. You can kind of mix and match by going under line types and hitting that box. I've got kind of a light purple there. And one of the things about Cricut that I'm going to go ahead and make that really quick, and then we'll come back to this. So one thing you need to do when you're doing an iron-on is make sure to mirror your project. Over on the left-hand side, you see that little button? That's a very common beginner mistake that I've made before, and it's going to make the t-shirt come out correctly. It will be backwards if you don't hit that button. So you want to use mirror functionality if you're doing iron-on or if you're doing infusible ink. So you can see I'm connecting my maker right now, and then we're going to go through material selection. But as I was saying about the colors, I didn't really think when I got into Cricut much about what colors I was putting on a machine, on a shirt, but it starts to get interesting what you're matching. So that part gets fun for me. I hit Everyday Iron-On there, you saw, because that's the product I'm using. You can see here on my desk at home. This is where I filmed this project. I've got some cool pink iron-on here. And kind of the idea for this project that I decided to do was to make that top mom section of my t-shirt one color, and then the bottom kind of reflected wow another color. So it's really a two-layer t-shirt. We call that two-layer t-shirt. And it may seem like an intermediate level project, but I hope at the end of this video you're going to see that it's really an easy thing for beginners and really fun too, because you feel like you've accomplished something. When I finished this t-shirt, I felt like this is something I could have bought, you know, in a store for kids' clothing, and my daughter loves it. So you can see here, corresponding to what we saw on the canvas, I'm using my mat here to start to size up my iron-on. And I'm just going to cut out a strip again for that top level mom. And then I'll do another color for the wow. But I'm just kind of getting the size together here, and it's a good idea to, you know, try not to use more than you're going to be cutting, because you obviously want to save as much as the iron-on for another project down the road. So sizing is something you need to think about early in the design process, both to make sure that you've got, you know, enough material for your design, but also to save material down the road. Okay, there's my pink, and I'm going to go ahead and bring my other color here. I think I'm opening that package. Yes, there it is. And I see a brilliant blue here, and I'm really liking the mix of these two colors, again, on the pink shirt. And sometimes I'll get through into a project and I'll put a couple colors together and I'll think, you know, I think I can do better, and I'll start over. And so it's just one of those things you kind of get to know your kind of what you like and what you don't like. But that matching color thing is something you can start out with on the canvas. And you can also put these rolls up against your blank before you even start the project and envision what it's going to look like. You can see I took the protective mat off of my protective cover off of my mat there, and I'm going to go ahead and put my iron-on on the mat. And the idea here is I'm going to make one cut with two pieces of iron-on on the same mat. And you can see I'm putting the shiny side down. It's another common mistake for beginners. You want to make sure that you put the shiny side down. And I'm really following the placement that I saw in Design Space here. So if you go back, you can rewind this video to the cut screen and see exactly where you want to put your materials, because I want to cut the mom out of that top portion, the blue portion, and the wow out of the pink portion on the bottom. and I want to butt those up against each other, again shiny side down on the mat, and I'm going to go ahead and roll them down too so that we make sure they stick and that we get a nice clean cut when it goes through my Cricut Maker. That looks like it's lined up pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and do my roll there. And now when you're putting this into the machine and hit that load button, you can see I'm just putting a little pressure with my hand as you go in and hit so you want to have one hand at the back and hit the button. Just give it a little push in, not very hard, but you want to make sure that it gets in and gets set correctly. Then I hit the blinking go button with the Cricut logo on it. And this is the fun part. It's starting to just cut my mom and wow designs. I did speed this up a little bit, but so there is my load button again and unload. And we're back at Design Space. This is what it looks like while it's cutting. In Design Space, it gives you a gauge and a percentage of the cut that's done. And you're just following the instructions on the screen. And here I'm going to the Cricut Heat Transfer Guide. I usually just Google it. You can go to it through our website as well. And I'm going to choose my EasyPress there. Choose my everyday iron-on, and my base material is 100% cotton t-shirt. So I'm going to choose 100% cotton there. And I have a Cricut EasyPress mat. I'm going to click apply, and it gives you everything you need here. How much time, what temperature, what supplies you'll need, and then step-by-step instruction, including preparation, application, and even care. Tumble dry inside out, that's a really good tip for those of you who have not done iron-on before. So the Heat Transfer Guide is really a great place to get information on these types of projects. Here I am just setting my Cricut EasyPress. I hit the temperature icon on the left-hand side and then go down and up to get to the temperature I want. Then I hit the icon one more time and it'll warm up for me. Then I hit the clock and set the time, again, according to what I read in the Cricut Heat Transfer Guide. And when I get it to what I want, and this is just for the pre-press in this case, I'm going to hit that clock one more time to lock it in. And there's my t-shirt. You're starting to see, this is where you get excited. You start to see how your colors are going to mesh with your base here. I've got that light pink. I was a little worried it wasn't going to stand out, but now I'm really liking it. So you can see these letters will go either way, so I can decide to have the pink up on the top or the purple on the bottom. And again, this is really the fun part where you're starting to understand, wow, I'm making something, this is cool. Okay, I'm just setting that up, and a lot of people do use a ruler or a tape measure here. I tend to just take a few fingers down. This is a kid's t-shirt, so I put it a little closer to the collar than I would if an adult's t-shirt, but I tend to kind of just eyeball it. And here again, following the Cricut Heat Transfer Guide, I'm going to pre-press for 5 seconds just to kind of get a nice clean base here for my transfer. Then I'm going to put the iron-on back on the warm area, and then we're going to again refer to the Heat Transfer Guide and make my final press here. That's looking pretty centered. And again, this is a really cool project because I just had this t-shirt in a drawer. It was a nice color. My daughter liked it, but I thought, you know, we could really spruce this up a little bit with a fun little logo that her mom would also like. And it's definitely got a smile out of her mom. So we've got those two together. They're pretty lined up there. And now we're going to make our main press here for 30 seconds. And you can see I'm not pressing down hard on the EasyPress, but I'm holding it in place with light pressure. You want it to be not moving around like an iron, just in one place. So I'm just holding it firmly in place, but not putting a lot of weight behind it. And you can see it's counting down. It's showing you exactly how much time you have left. right, there's my main press. Looking good. And so one thing with iron-on that some folks, particularly beginners, might not know is you want to do a cool peel with iron-on. So you want to let that cool off a little bit, and you can just put your hand there to see, you know, how cool it is. And I did, there's a little time-lapse photo trickery going on there. It's been a little longer. But you can see it's coming off, and I'm pulling it at a 45-degree angle, kind of steadily. And again, this is the fun part. This is really like something you could buy in a store, and it's so cool. I just had this t-shirt in my daughter's drawer, and now it's one of her favorite t-shirts. Okay, there is Mom. Wow, custom iron-on t-shirt for you guys. And hopefully, oh cool, I've got some folks in the chat here. I'm gonna go ahead and come back to in person here. Hello again. All right, so it looks like we've got quite a few people in the chat here. Awesome. Hello, Pink Queen, Nieves, Valerie, Virginia, Amanda. Awesome. Look at all these folks. Someone just asked the size of my design. So I can put that in the notes of the description. I believe it was about 6 inches wide, but I can put that in the notes. So I will certainly do that. I just need to go back and look it up. Hello from Germany, Judith. How are you? That's awesome. We have somebody from Germany. Ashley, hello. Cameron. This is awesome. Look at all these folks. Hey, Kayla. Right on. This is so cool. All right, it looks like Karen has been super busy. Looks easy, that's what I want to hear. So that's just one thing I want to say is just, you know, we're here. We've got a whole list of these beginner level projects in the Cricut 101 playlist on YouTube. Go check them out, you know, talk to your friends, but more than anything, get your equipment out and just do. I can't really emphasize enough that getting into Cricut is about learning by doing and making mistakes, which are going to give you, you know, those lessons that you take to the next project and make them a little better. It's okay if it's not perfect. You know, I've been at this a year now, and I'm still learning every time I get in there. But I just love to get in there with my hands. You know, start to understand how the material feels, how the equipment feels, and get a little bit better each time. Because we can support your journey here on Cricut 101 and at Cricut, but really you have to do the learning yourself, and it's really fun. It's really rewarding as you get better. And I just want you to make sure you know that you don't have to start with, you know, what you might think is a beginner level project, just a little sticker or something. You can do something like this, a 2-layer iron-on just a t-shirt that you may have lying around, and it's going to be impressive, and it's certainly beginner level. So thank you so much for joining me at Cricut 101. We've got another episode coming your way on Wednesday, and we're going to have 2 unboxings the day after Christmas of an Explore and a Maker. So be sure to join Courtney and I for that event as well. Happy holidays. Thanks again for joining. We'll see you the next time on Cricut 101.